What's going on, everybody? Not here, and I got 15 minutes in and realized I didn't add a stage on StreamYard. I'm so fucking sick of StreamYard. Like, it should just auto add that, but it doesn't. So I pay the stupid tax. So the demise of Pokemon Center ETBs has been greatly exaggerated by a bunch of people on YouTube who just missed the trade. So now they talk shit on it because they just skipped it, which is perfectly fine. But it's a tale of two trades here. So we effectively have the sealed product trade, which is up across the board, except for a couple buyouts. And then we have the singles. And the singles are certainly a little light, but a lot of the singles are up 2 to 3x in the last 6 to 9 months. So at some point, there's going to be a pullback and there's going to be a little bit of a plus. So let's walk through this. And if we look at the quantity changes, there hasn't been that much change in quantity. So quite honestly, it's not really worth talking about. But I do want to break this into a couple different buckets here. And I'll just kind of highlight. Let's see. I'll just do these right. It's probably hard to read, but it doesn't matter. So the green ones here, these are the old mothballed, not going to get any more. The value of these is really starting to move, not only based on the intrinsic value of the product, but also the collectability of the item. And we'll see this in the base set ones, which is super interesting. Because we're basically going into, an area here that we haven't been at before. Then you have the Twilight Shrouded, Stellar, and Surging. And I kind of call this this is kind of the wait and see zone. It's not quite old enough to be grouped into the other ones, but it's going to get there. So this is really where the opportunity is if something gets cheap or something gets out of whack. And then you have Prismatic and Journey. These are all brand new. It seems like they've printed a lot more Prismatic than what they've printed in the past, just based on the amount of time that the queue's been up and the sequential order numbers that folks have run. And Journey is obviously the most recent set until tomorrow. That'll be the second most recent set. But there's still a ton of this product out there. So the Miraidon Koraidon, both all-time highs, $250. Miraidon hit 255 back in April. And I have April 4th on here because this was kind of the top. And then from the 4th to the 10th to the 27th, it took a little bit of a break. And now everything swung back in the other direction. Paldea Evolved is down in the last month, but it's down because there was this massive buyout. So this was 225, 250, 275, 290. Then all of a sudden, there's a big buyout up to 400. And in a month, it took a little bit of a break and a little bit of a regression of the mean, or reversion of the mean. Either way, I guess the same thing. It's only down to 350, which is great. Obsidian, not much change here. 151, $500, all-time high. I think we saw 1 or 2 sales at 500 before, but it's kind of 500 to stay, in my opinion. You have the 2 Paradox, 145, 125. These were double digits forever. Now they're starting to move. They're starting to dry up because people are starting to care. And if you look here, the supply is starting to dry up as well. The supply in all of these is dried up. Paldean Fates, almost half the volume was what there was a month ago. You're still only at 230. And, there was a buyout, I think it was in March. So to the left of the graph here. But, 230. I mean, these are going to be $400 pretty quickly. Temporal, the Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. Now, Walking Wake's down because this one had the big buyout. I think they actually bought it up to like 300. But the fact that it's only gone down to 163, and it's also pulled the Iron Leaves up from 127 to 155. It's really interesting. And again, the supply of these is only a handful. Now we move to the opportunity zone, if you will. So Twilight, it looks like Twilight, a lot of the glut of product that was dropped in December on Pokemon Center, presumably from the UK to the US so they can move it. Looks like it has worked its way through the system. we've kind of stabilized at 122. 108 available on the market. So, the overall supply is down. Shrouded. Just want to take a quick second here. So Shrouded Fable is coming up on 1 year of age. So this came out the end of August last year, and they kind of rushed it out for I believe it was Nationals in Hawaii or whatever. The set came out when the market was still ice cold. There was like a little bit of a spark from Twilight and the Greninja. Stellar wasn't out yet. Surging, wasn't even a thing yet. So it kind of came out, and it just shit the bed. Nobody cared. It sat at distro for $30 forever. But the product's now a year old. The supply in the market is starting to dry up. Now, the Pokemon Center ETBs, there's still a good amount of them. 93 listed here, and I'm sure there's a ton of these on eBay, case-wise, that you can probably get for $300 for a case, which is a great price. But this is going to be one of those sets in 2 years when people look back and say, I should have bought it. It was super cheap. It was everywhere. And it's not because they overprinted it. It's because it came out at the absolute wrong time and nobody wanted it. So as specialty sets go, this will have a lesser print run relative to the rest of the specialty sets in the era. It's just going to. So in 6 to 9 months, we're going to look at these prices and say, why didn't we buy them? Because this is the single biggest product and set, and Pokemon Center on regular ETBs and the bundles, the biggest opportunity on the market right now. And quite honestly, the regular ETBs at $60, that is a super, super cheap price point based on where we're at in the market and what this product is going to do over the next 2 years. So, and I believe this is going to rotate out in April of 2027. So Paradox is 2026. And then it should be these guys. Maybe not Stellar. Probably Stellar. I don't know. Either way, Shrouded most certainly in there. Because you have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it should be 4 sets. Should be 4 main sets, so it should include Stellar. And then you have the 2 halfers. Okay. So, Stellar Crown, $175. All-time high. There's only the market. I don't know what the hell happened here. I mean, these were available in the UK for the longest time, but everybody wants them now. Surging at 180. The fact that Stellar Crown is $5 less than Surging, and the promos are pretty much on par, and the Magneton may be a tick better, or let's see, I have a tick more interest per se. It's just amazing. Then you have Prismatic, 273. We had this big amount that was sold, went from 330 down to 250. It's going to be back over 330 in a month or two. It's just going to happen. There's 190 in the market. They're going to get gobbled up, and that's that. I mean, Prismatic, a lot of folks are kind of in a wait and see mode here, but ETBs are going to dry up. They're going to stop coming. We're going to have this Costco thing, assuming it's real. It seems like it is. They'll throw their 80,000 units out into the market, and then it'll disappear. And it'll be the same as when Prismatic came out the first time. There's going to be 150 no-name sellers with no fucking feedback dumping shit on TCG Player, and it's going to be the most annoying thing in the world. TCG Player, if you're listening to this, please add a seller monthly fee. Just make it $20 a month. You'll raise your royalty revenue, it'll raise your valuation, and it will keep the garbage sellers off your platform, which means lesser complaints, lesser issues, lesser customer service and headaches. Create that barrier to entry so you keep the garbage sellers off the platform. Anyway, I told you guys that in Gamma. Moving on. So, Journey Together, $116. Yeah, I'll say the same thing that I say around this time for every set. The price of these is never going to get cheaper. This is the maximum amount that's going to be in the market. If you want to buy them, buy them. $116, quite honestly, is super cheap. Probably my second best value of any of these. And we'll get to that shortly. we're going to blow through the singles here because there's really not that much to talk about. These are kind of down month over month. And again, I have April 10th here because this is kind of the high watermark of a lot of these. And you can see this is just from the 27th of April through the 29th of May. The price of these is gone down a little bit. Some of these because they're just nobody sellers listing a couple numbers, a couple items low. You have Noctowl up, Magneton up, and these had gotten pressured the last couple months because a lot of these were graded, and then you have a 2, 3, 4 month lag. Then they hit the market, the near mints that aren't PSA 10s. You have to be careful about that. I won't buy from a 50,000 plus seller because I just assume that they're smart enough to make sure that they're not selling PSA 10s. Maybe I'm just jaded, but yeah, I assume that group is probably far more intelligent than the folks with 1 or 2 sales, or at least diligent, I should say. EV's down to $65. It's getting to the point where it's starting to get interesting. Probably not there yet. Probably a month or two until it totally bottoms out, but it's getting there. And then the Zora, $42. I don't really have an opinion on this other than the regular ETB is $72 and the PC ETB is $116. I don't see the regular ETB going down anytime soon, which means the PC ETB is a good value buy. Now, just real quick, we talked about the Koraidon Miraidon base set and how the value is starting to really price in collectability value here because this is drying up, and people are just buying them because they're collector's pieces. But there's more singles coming to the market. The Paldea Pikachu, 165 of these all of a sudden. So I don't know if these no-name sellers are just trying to sell the non-stamped ones in mass and kind of screw people over, or if there's really this many that have come to market because they listen to all the Timmies on YouTube who are like, the sky's falling, singles are falling, sell everything before it goes to zero. That crowd of highly astute collectors and sellers. But I don't know. You have Teal Mask and Petrarunt. Nobody wants those still, which makes them interesting. It's sub $20. I have a lot of both of these. I'll probably buy some more at some point. But I mean, quite honestly, with the Petrarunt at 15, why wouldn't I just buy the sealed cases at $300 on eBay? Because again, we just looked at the sealed product. The sealed product is linear. The singles are all over the place. So, and I would much rather have a sealed product of something that is relatively tight printed than having a stack of 100 singles. So let's go to the next item here. So this is this is showing the relative value of, and again, this is taking the Pokemon Center ETB price and comparing it to the regular ETB prorated for 11 packs versus 9 and adding the promo price. So it's not an apples to apples comparison, but it gives you the relative value of, okay, if I buy a near mint version and buy 9 packs, theoretically, right? A regular ETB, 2 other packs, whatever. And compare it to what the cost would be for a Pokemon Center ETB. So you're basically recreating the Pokemon Center ETB. How much less expensive would that be than buying the Pokemon Center ETB? Or is a Pokemon Center ETB actually less expensive, in which case there's a lot of value in buying that? Before I touch on that, this is the regular Elite Trainer Box price on April 27th. And here's the price move in the last month. And every single one of these is up. The Scarlet and Violet sealed market is absolutely on fire. It's absolutely rock solid. Anybody who tells you otherwise has no fucking idea what they're talking about. Sales are through the roof. The sell-throughs through the roof. We can see with the price movement, there's no reason for anybody to even ask a question about it right now. And then you have Prismatic, which is down $12 because the second wave of restock just hit the market. So, and then we're going to see this 80,000 units from Costco come in, and there's going to be 100 sellers, no name sellers on TCG Player. So again, please add a paywall for sellers. Just please. I'm just asking you. I don't even want credit for the idea. Just do it. So relative value. So the Maridon the Pokemon Center ETB is $50 and $60 more than buying the promo and trying to recreate it with a sealed ETB in a couple packs. But again, these two, in my view, are going to have a premium because of the collectability value. And I would be surprised if these aren't $350, $400 by year end, because they're just going to get eaten up. Paldea Evolved, I would buy the regular ETBs all day long. That's not even a question. I mean, at $90 on the regular ETBs versus $210 or $410. Is it $410? Let me make sure. Oh, hold on. Anon fucked up. Sorry. It's almost 11 o'clock, and this is the second time I've recorded this like a dumbass. So there we go. They're actually $100. So that looks better. Paldea Evolved, $153, more expensive. And again, this is coming down from a buyout. I'd stay away from that. Same with Obsidian. Same with 151. I mean, $235 on the regular ETBs, still cheap. Paradox, both of these, inexpensive. I'd probably buy the Pokemon Center ETBs if you get sealed cases. If you can't get sealed cases, try to get sealed cases of the regular ETBs. It's just, it's going to pay in the future. You know, Fates, the two temporals, they're kind of a wash in my view. Yeah, I would probably, with something this tight, I would lean toward the Pokemon Center ETBs, even though there is a little bit of a premium on there. Twilight and Shrouded, it's a wash. So you want to buy the Pokemon Center ETB all day long. It's not even, and that's with significantly depressed prices in the promos. So Twilight and Shrouded are the absolute best buys next to Journey Together. So Stellar, Pokemon Center ETB is overpriced. Surging is actually close. It's close to a wash. That's because the regular ETB is $112. It's absolutely through the roof. Prismatic, the Pokemon Center ETB is up. I would probably buy the regular ETBs as they're coming out. Anything, under 120 is probably a reasonable price. We're not going to see much of these, I don't think, after we get this Costco restock. So, the time to buy those is probably in the height of all of the no-name sellers dumping these from the Costco items, assuming it's real, and it seems to be real. And then Journey Together. So the regular TVs are $72. The promo's $42. And look, the promo's probably going to come down a little bit, but the set's been out for 2 months. Actually, 2 months plus. So it's kind of steady state. And the Pokemon Center ETBs are only at $116. The Pokemon Center ETBs should probably be priced at $150 here. I mean, look at Stellar. Regular ETB 75 versus 72, promo 72 versus 41. Stellar's at 175, Journey's at 116. Journey's going to get there. It's not going to be today, tomorrow, next week, next month, but by November, it's probably at $175. And that's just the way this shit works. So anyway, I wanted to go through this because I was actually curious for myself, because I've seen so much trash talk about how Pokemon Center ETBs are a terrible play and it's just a stamp and blah, 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 wham. I missed the trade. Sealed product continues to dominate. Doesn't matter what it is. Pokemon Center ETBs are no exception to the rule. But I will tell you that the Twilight, the Shrouded Fable, and the Journey Together Pokemon Center ETBs are probably the 3 best value buys in the market today. So anyway, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and we will talk soon.